Europe was calm, unaware that beneath this peace, a storm was already brewing. In royal halls, power and pride clashed. Politics was about to set the world on fire. Europe split into two camps, alliances forged not for peace, but for dominance. One shot in Sarajevo, and the world would never be the same again. One shot in Sarajevo, and the world would never be the same again. Within days, words turned into war, and Europe fell into darkness. They thought they'd be home by Christmas. They were wrong. The first gunfire echoed across the continent, and history changed forever. They dug trenches and buried their hopes with them. Science turned deadly. The first poison gas attack made the air itself an enemy. For the first time, men fought in the skies, steel birds of death. At home, women replaced men. Their tears kept the factories running. Under the waves, silent killers hunted their prey. When the Lusitania sank, the sea itself wept, and America began to stir. The United States could no longer stay silent. Justice demanded action. While Europe burned, Russia rose. A new revolution began. The world was on fire. Nations bled for inches of land, no man's land. A place where hope and humanity went to die. For one night, enemies became men again. A song of peace in a world of war. Technology outpaced humanity. The machines killed faster than hearts could feel. At Gallipoli, bravery met disaster. Thousands perished for nothing. In the sands of Arabia, rebellion rose against an empire. The ocean became a graveyard of steel and flame. When America entered, hope returned to weary hearts. New monsters crawled across the battlefield. The age of tanks had begun. Even the skies above cities were no longer safe. For every bullet fired, a mother's heart broke somewhere far away. The world learned to live for war. Even peace was postponed. The tide finally turned. Courage began to outweigh despair. The empire crumbled from within. The warlords lost their crown. November 11th, 1918. The guns fell silent, but the echoes would last forever. When the smoke cleared, Europe was a graveyard of dreams. Peace came, but it was a peace built on punishment. Germany was forced to kneel. Bitterness replaced hope. Old empires fell. New nations were born from the ashes. An entire generation vanished, not in death alone, but in memory. They built the League of Nations, a dream of peace that never truly worked. The war ended, but the suffering continued. Hunger replaced gunfire. Out of anger and ruin, a darker force began to rise, a shadow named Hitler. The world promised never again, but promises are fragile. They died believing they were ending war, yet their silence became the world's greatest warning.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more cinematic tales.